So War Machine and Hordes Battle Report number 2. This is Skorne versus Cygnar, Dominar Rasheth versus Captain Jeremiah Kraye. This scenario is the same as last time, unfortunately. It's just what I rolled. The board looks like that. This is actually in my basement. And here's my army. I took these photos before my friend got here. As always, the army list will be in the description. And here's my friends list. It's a tier force. Mine's a tier force too, actually. Both decent tiers. I think he gets to place some forests and walls, potentially. On to deployment. So we see some rangers to the far left here. His Jack's advanced deploy, part of the tier. And some more rangers on the other side. My Gators are on the hill to the left, with all my Titans in the center, and Rasheth in the center. Agonizer is also in the center. And there's some more Rangers to the right. So like all War Machine and Hordes games, turn 1 involves a lot of running. Most Cygnar stuff ran, and Kraye cast full tilt onto one of the Ironclads. The Ironclad's name is actually Trevor, and it's actually on the base, which is kind of funny. Some Rangers moved up to the side there. And his Jacks got into better firing positions. Man, those Minutemen are dangerous. You gotta watch those. Huge threat with the jump. So my turn 1 starts with my Cannoneer taking a shot at the Rangers to the right, since I had no other good targets. I kill one. I got a scatter actually, but it didn't scatter far enough. It was in the appropriate direction. Unfortunately, I still only tagged the one. And the Gators moved up. The Taskmaster gave them tough. And the Gators prayed for terror and +1 defense, and the Krea cast her Animus. The Swamp Gobbers ran up to get into a good position to do some arcing. And it looks like Rasheth has already arced Breath of Corruption there, taking out the Gunmage Adept, and actually doing a few damage points to both the Minutemen. Other than that, my entire army advances up. Cygnar turn 2, guess what? Stuff gets shot. PB and J are Kyle's hunters. He names all his Jacks, and they're pretty cute names. PB and J do a total of 15 damage to the Cannoneer. We're going to see it over the course of a couple pictures here. But, yeah, it looks like Cannoneer's taken quite a hit. Its mind is gone. I'll have to heal it next turn. And the Blazers move up, do some damage to... actually, they were out of range of all my Titans, I believe. And they killed the Swamp Gobber. Actually declared brutal damage on the remaining Swamp Gobber and annihilated it completely. And the Rangers are appearing to be doing an extreme flanking maneuver to the left. They're going to shoot Paingivers eventually. I'm actually going to have to dedicate something to go and kill them, unfortunately. Skorne turn 2. Here's a brief overview of what the board looks like before I move anything. My plan here is to deal with some of the Rangers. So the Cannoneer shoots off one of the Tempest Blazers, does 3 damage to the second one, not quite finishing it, and the Agonizer runs over to be the victim of Blood Rituals, which is Rasheth's ability to arc. Gators have to go and deal with the Rangers. Kill 2, unfortunately only one of them could charge. And my Titans get in the center, and I run my second Agonizer up. I cast his ability to negate focus allocation to Jacks, and then I top him up with Rasheth. Rasheth also does a Breath of Corruption onto these Rangers, misses, and scatters backwards, hitting nothing, but doing 2 damage to the Agonizer from Blood Rituals. Alright, moving on to Cal's turn 3. So we check the range on the Agonizer, and indeed, 2 Ironclads, a Minuteman, and one of his Hunters are caught in the aura of no focus allocation. It's very good against War Machine, depending on their list, I guess. 1 focus goes to the Minuteman, 2 focus go to the Hunter to the far right, and they're going to shoot stuff probably, I'm assuming. So these Rangers are just track stars. They've ran around the entire board looking to get at my Paingivers. And these other Rangers are just boss. They kill 3 Paingivers, do 2 damage to the Cannoneer, and kill the Agonizer that I was arcing out of. So they deserve some field promotions. So the Ironclad walks over, can't do much, sacrifices his attacks to knock everything down. It's a good call. Knocks the Sentry and Bronzeback down anyway. And the Minuteman here jumps over the wall, kills the Agonizer, gets some really good rolls, and does some damage to the Krea. And the second Minuteman also jumps over the wall, does more damage to the Krea. I'm regretting moving the Krea there. I was being too greedy, I think, with the aura. And the Hunter unloads into the Cannoneer, doing quite a bit of damage. Cannoneer's almost dead. I think she's got like 3 hit points left. And the Tempest Blazers move up, pew pew, kill the Cannoneer, do some more damage to the Kraye, I believe, and then fast cav away. And the Ironclad charges in for free because Kraye popped his feet. Kraye also did firing group this turn. And there's a overview of the board. I guess I really don't need to keep saying Skorne turn 3 or my turn 3 because clearly you can read it on the screen. I guess for the visually impaired, I should. Though, who would be watching this if they were visually impaired? So it looks like I spend 1 to stand the Sentry up. The Bronzeback is just going to sacrifice his movement later. And indeed he does. Bronzeback sacrifices movement and kills the Ironclad. I try to beat back towards the second Ironclad, but I'm not going to get there. The Sentry moves over and casts Locker and then beats up on the second Ironclad a bit, taking out both of its arms. Paingiver enrages the Gladiator. Gladiator charges the Hunter, not quite killing it, leaving it on 2 boxes, and Rasheth tries to defend himself with more Breath of Corruption. These pesky Rangers. Alright, Cygnar turn 4. I'm just going to keep saying what turn it is and whose turn it is because it gives me something to talk about. Here's an overview of the board. All my stuff's in the center, getting shot at. Trying to get to grips with the nimble but squishy Cygnar stuff. So these Rangers walk over and shoot 2 Paingivers dead. I have 1 remaining, and he's not long for life either. They also try and shoot Rasheth but do 0 damage. These Rangers take 2 free strikes. The 2 that took the free strikes died, and the other 2 that didn't die tried to shoot at Rasheth but were out of range. This Minuteman walks over and, lo and behold, kills the final Paingiver. I am now a Skorne player with 0 Paingivers. That's a sad Skorne player. So this Hunter that I'd already damaged with the Gladiator was missing its gun arm, was a -1 on Rasheth, and rolled a 1 for damage. It's too bad. The second Hunter, which received 2 focused, boosted a shot into Rasheth, doing 8 damage, which I transferred to the Bronzeback. And there's the damage grid. So the fast cav shooted the Gladiator a bit, hurting him somewhat. I think they did about 16 damage or something like that. You can count it there. Just pause the screen. And then Kraye moves over to dominate the zone. I think my opponent decided that there wasn't much he could do. I was going to eventually win by domination anyway, or control points that is, so he just kind of threw the game. So my final turn, I put Bloodmark onto Kraye with Rasheth, and I tried running my Taskmaster over to get Carnivore onto the Sentry. Didn't really work. And Rasheth also tried to Sunder Spirit at Kraye, but missed. And the Bronzeback charged in and finished Kraye off. It's kind of what Bronzebacks do. They kill. Alright, while I talk about afterthoughts, you get to look at pictures of my baby boy. He was born on March 16th this year, so he's only about almost 5 months. So I felt like the game went pretty well. I think there was good plays on both sides. My opponent said that it was his first game in a long time, so maybe he was a little rustier than he was previously. He said he didn't really like his model placement or matchup initiation with some of his stuff, but I felt like we both played pretty decent. I think I played better than my previous game. I felt like this game really showcased what my list is weak against, and that's things flanking on the side. My list does not like dedicating manpower, or in this case Titan power or Gator power, to go and deal with like 5-point units of Rangers that have to be dealt with, or otherwise all my support staff's gonna die. or Rasheth will get shot at to a lesser extent. He took the Gators out of the game with 5 points. I tried to Breath of Corruption the other ones, but onto the right, but it didn't do the trick, and they still ended up killing most of my Paingivers, so that kind of sucked. It's not the optimal list I would take with Rasheth's Chain Gang. I would actually switch out the Cannoneer for another Sentry, but my second Sentry is not painted. I just built him, so I don't want to use unpainted models in my videos. As far as videos go, I think this video came together more than my previous one. It was much smoother, and I took a lot more pictures, so I think it's better for the viewer to look at more pictures when I talk about the turns events, and it kind of puts you in the game more than just looking at one overall picture after someone's done their turn. So I'm going to continue this format for my future videos, which I'm not sure when I'll be able to record. I believe I mentioned before that I have about 4 tournaments lined up in November. So until then, I might do some painting stuff, or I might do some other pickup games. I think I should do a fantasy battle report next, just because I have subscribers that are into fantasy more than War Machine and Hordes. So I know you can't please everyone, but I'm gonna try my darndest. Try my darndest. There you go. So my next game should be fantasy. Other than that, yeah, November, 3 Warhammer Fantasy tournaments and 1 War Machine tournament. And I might possibly do more War Machine tournaments before that, as one of the local game stores does a tournament about every month. I'm going to try to get a video at least once a week, time permitting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I had a lot of fun in the game today. My opponent's always a pleasure. He's a great guy, and he's thinking about doing YouTube battle reports too. Probably based around 40k, because that's kind of his game. But he would do it for Hordes and War Machine or Fantasy or whatever he's playing. So when that time comes, I'll be sure to link to his channel. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.